So in keeping with the same theme as my last honest RuneScape video, I decided to pick another moneymaker that I used to do as a kid. And like all the moneymakers that I did as a kid, they're not very good. They're not efficient, but I had fun doing it. So today's moneymaker brings us to just south of Varrock, and as many of you probably already know, since you can see that guy's feet right now, today we're going to be killing dark wizards. Now, this wasn't something that I could do immediately. I did have to train my combat skills before I could do this, because these mages love preying on the weak. And they've ended the lives of many new players throughout the years. Now, you have people on both sides of this war. You have those that give in to the evil side and decide to align themselves with the dark mages, usually disguising themselves as a pile of coins to lure the less fortunate in, and then you have people like me, defenders against the dark arts. Today, I'll be doing my duty of protecting those that enter and leave Varrock. So, as for the gear setup, I was thinking of buying what I used back then, which was normally some sort of melee armor. It was probably either iron or steel. We're a little more knowledgeable now than we were back then. So, because of that, I'm gonna go with a ranged outfit, because as we all know, there is a combat triangle in this game, and range always beats mage. That's how it works, right? Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I was deciding whether I should buy something that old me would use back then, like studded chaps, but then I realized, you know what? Those level 20 mages bullied me enough as a young child, so this time we're gonna upgrade to the good stuff. That's right, we're getting black d'hide. So as you can see, the outfit is coming together very nicely. I've opted for the black d'hide with a Zamorak coif. Now, I was thinking about wearing like a snakeskin bandana, kind of like I'm doing here with the boots, but I don't really like the look of it, so I went for something a little more flashy. As for the boots, unfortunately, I couldn't afford any of the boots that match the coifs because they're very expensive right now. So we are rocking snakeskin boots, but that's fine. Now, I did want to rock something that I used back then when I was a kid, and I couldn't decide what it was, and then it hit me. The amulet. Now, I could go ahead and buy a glory, it's pretty good, it'll give us some good damage, but we have to have at least one item that I used back then as a kid, and I think there's no better item than the amulet of accuracy, which back then I thought was the best for ranging. Anytime I would range, I was always wearing this amulet of accuracy, which is actually a quest reward from one of the early free-to-play quests. I think it's the one where you have to find all the beads. And I remember once I got the amulet from that quest, I pretty much wore it everywhere I went. And I had no idea that there were better amulets, even in free-to-play, such as the power amulet. I think the power amulet is probably the best one out of all of them. It has like the best stats from all the amulets you can buy, but in my head, this one is called the amulet of accuracy, and I wore it anytime that I used range, so we're gonna wear it today. And also, it kind of looks pretty cool. I kind of dig it, so that's what we'll be using. Arrows are actually kind of expensive. I did not expect them to be that expensive. I'm not sure how many I'm gonna need for this 1 hour, but I think 1,000 is more than enough, so we'll just buy 1,000. There we go, that's the gear setup. Now that we have it ready, we can go ahead and slay those wizards that terrorize the people of Varrock and the people trying to get in Varrock. So, let's do it. I just want to say, I think it's hilarious that earlier I was saying that there's two types of people, those who align themselves with the dark wizards, and those who are the defenders against them. And I'm standing here wearing a Zamorak coif, as I called myself a defender. The description on the wiki for dark wizards literally says, dark wizards are mages who worship Zamorak. So, yeah, you know what? Forget about it. It's totally planned. I'm wearing the Zamorak cap just so that, they'll think that I'm one of them and they'll allow me into their circle. Alright, so totally planned. Also, I wanted to mention that I did bring two other items that weren't shown in the gear setup portion of this video, and that was the Bone Crusher necklace and the Ring of Wealth. I started killing the dark wizards and quickly realized that they drop coins and I didn't feel like picking all of them up, so that's why I brought the Ring of Wealth, so that any coin drops automatically go into my inventory.
And I'm really glad that I brought it because it would have been a lot of clicking for a very small amount of coins, as you'll see at the end. And then as for the Bone Crusher, I brought that simply because I don't want to leave any evidence of what has happened here. There's going to be a lot of remains left behind if I don't bring the Bone Crusher, so that's why I have it. And we'll also be able to see how much prayer XP we can get in 1 hour. One of the things that is different from today as opposed to way back in the day is that I am on a members world, which means that we are also getting access to some members drops, such as the blood runes. Normally you don't see those in free-to-play. It's also a good idea that I decided to bring a range outfit because these mages do have a chance of using a spell that lowers your strength down. And since we're using range, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect us whatsoever. I do have to say though, I think magic has always been my favorite combat style, even now and way back then. There was just something so cool about having a full inventory of runes. I don't know, they just look really nice. It's also pretty cool whenever you have a full inventory of all the runes and you go to your magic tab and all of the spells are lit up like a Christmas tree. Times were much simpler back then, and having access to a spellbook that had so much utility was something that was really fun for me. Even if it wasn't worth casting certain spells like low alchemy or even smelting an ore with magic, it was still fun to do. Also, I should probably mention that it took me a good 20 minutes to realize that I have a special attack on this short bow, so yeah, it took me a while to use that. And speaking of special attacks, that's actually what I was super excited for whenever I got membership for the first time. I remember I trained my attack, strength, and defense up to level 60 before I actually got membership so that I could use all the dragon weapons effectively, and looking back on it now, yes, I should have quested it, but at least I had fun doing it, right? So when I got membership for the first time, I bought all the dragon weapons that I could to test out all of the special attacks, and lo and behold, I had to quest anyways because a lot of the dragon weapons require quest completion to even wield them, so I did have to quest before doing it, but once I had those done, I tried them out and I was blown away. While I was doing this moneymaker though, I was reminded of a certain day that happened way back when I was a small young lad, and it was here at the Dark Wizard Circle where I got my first gilded armor set. I was killing Dark Wizards as usual, and I think somebody may have AFK'd here in the circle and they ended up dying to the Dark Wizards, and they were wearing full black gilded armor, and as soon as they died, I jumped on it along with like 3 other people, and I did manage to pick it up first. I was a very happy kid that day, and I'm sure there was another kid somewhere else in the world who was a very not so happy kid. Hopefully the memory of them losing their armor doesn't keep them up at night. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this 1 hour of killing Dark Wizards, and before we take a look at the loot, I just want to ask, why do these wizards drop wizard hats if they're wearing hoods? And why don't we have access to their rope set? I mean, it looks very cool. I'd be very excited to get a rope set like that. Anyways, let's go ahead and just move on to the loot. So, after 1 hour of killing the Dark Wizards, this is our inventory. A whole bunch of runes, some coins, a lot of black robes, and some talismans. Let's go ahead and do a little price check of that, see what the total amount is. 77,000 GP. Pretty much keeps in line with all of our other money-making methods that we've been doing on this series, so yeah, definitely not bad. The only thing is, I'm gonna have to factor out how much money I spent on arrows, because those weren't cheap. So, let's go to the GE, sell it off, and see how much total profit we made. Here we are at the GE, but I just realized something. We have a clue. We have a beginner clue scroll, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that first, and then we'll come back and sell everything off. So, hopefully we get lucky, and maybe get some, actually, I don't even know what you can get in here that's worth a lot of money, but let's go do it anyways. So funnily enough, it was a 1-step clue casket. Very nice, I'll take that. And it was it was very close to the area where we were killing the mages, so everything worked out. Let's go ahead and open it and see what we get. A blue wizard hat and a steel plate skirt. You know what, it's not worth much, but it does look nice. Alrighty, so let me go ahead and sew everything off. I'm just gonna throw it in there. We're not really gonna try to maximize our profits since it's not really much to begin with. And after all, this is an honest job. We're not really doing it for the money. So after everything is sold, we are left with 70,000 GP. It's not much, but it's honest work. And I think we can celebrate by eating our kebab and drinking the beer that dwarf gave us earlier. There we go.
after this 1 hour, we ended up using 264 amethyst arrows. So if we go ahead, well, actually I can just come over here. We bought them for 207 GP each. We spent 264 of them, which means we lost 54,000 GP here. And if we subtract that from the total amount of money that we get, it's not looking good. I will say that. So after you subtract the cost of money that we spent on the amethyst arrows, that leaves us with a grand total profit of 15,809 GP, possibly the lowest amount of money that we've made in this series, but I gotta say it was pretty satisfying to completely demolish those mages that terrorized me as a young kid, so totally worth it.
And if you're interested, here is a look at the hit points, ranging, and prayer XP that we got throughout the 1 hour, and the look at the total loot from the 301 dark mages that we eradicated from the Dark Circle. I just want to say thanks for checking out the video, and thank you to all of my channel members, with a special thanks to ACR Beans. Once again, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and as always, I will catch you guys in the next episode.